Can This Love Be Translated? Is a romance about two people who can translate everything except themselves. It looks glossy, global, and soft-lit. But underneath all the pretty airports and foreign languages, it is really about one brutal little truth. Love does not fail because people lack words. It fails because people hide behind them. The story begins in Tokyo, where Cha Mu-hee arrives ready to confront her cheating ex-boyfriend. At first, she believes she is the official girlfriend who has been betrayed. But reality slaps her hard. The clown is not the other woman. It is Mu-hee herself. Mu-hee does not speak Japanese, so she tries to fight the other woman with a translation app. The problem is that a flat robotic voice cannot carry rage. All the anger inside her gets squeezed into lifeless electronic audio, and the whole confrontation loses its power before it even begins. Nearby, interpreter Joo Ho-jin sees the entire humiliating scene. He understands her situation, but he has no intention of getting involved. Mu-hee notices a Chinese guidebook in his hand and assumes he is Chinese. Wanting to express her frustration, she prepares a sharp insult through her phone. Then she hears the Korean translation app speak beside her and realizes Ho-jin is Korean too. Now she is so embarrassed she wants the ground to open up and swallow her. Just then, an Italian child nearby has a severe allergic reaction and needs to go to the hospital immediately. The child's parents do not speak Japanese. Ho-jin steps forward and uses fluent Japanese to ask the restaurant staff to call an ambulance. After the child is taken away, Ho-jin leaves his phone number with the mother in case she needs more help. When he returns to the restaurant entrance and tries to grab his bag, Mu-hee refuses to let go. She wants him to translate what she wants to say. The app is too stiff. It cannot carry her feelings. A real human translator should have more force than artificial intelligence. Ho-jin refuses at first. He does not want to translate emotional messes between other people. But after seeing Mu-hee's pitiful expression, he finally agrees. One rule: he will not translate swear words. When the current girlfriend, Aiko, appears, Mu-hee freezes. She never expected Aiko to be older than her, and she definitely did not expect the loose dress to reveal a clearly pregnant belly. Mu-hee is struck silent. She and her ex broke up only 3 months ago, but Aiko is 7 months pregnant. Mu-hee assumes her boyfriend cheated during their relationship. But the truth is more complicated. Mu-hee storms out in anger. Ho-jin is about to follow, but Aiko stops him. Aiko already knows Mu-hee exists and asks Ho-jin to pass along a message. The baby is not Yoo-jin's child. It belongs to Aiko's ex-husband. Aiko admits she is greedy, but she only wants to give her child a complete family. If Mu-hee truly wants Yoo-jin back, Aiko is willing to break up with him. When Ho-jin finds Mu-hee outside, she is still pouring out her anger. After he explains Aiko's message, Mu-hee thinks Aiko is testing her to see whether she can take Yoo-jin back. To protect the last bit of her dignity, she returns to the restaurant. Then she learns the truth. Yoo-jin met and dated Aiko while studying in Japan. Later, he fell for another woman, a woman abandoned by her family with no one to rely on and nothing going right in her life. Whenever Aiko tried to win Yoo-jin back, he would say he could not let go of that woman, then return to her again. Mu-hee finally realizes she was not the betrayed girlfriend. She was the woman who stepped into someone else's relationship without knowing it. Aiko then starts mocking her. She says Mu-hee knew Yoo-jin was trash and still came all the way from Korea. That must mean she is lonely enough to throw away her pride. To protect Mu-hee's last bit of dignity, Ho-jin responds in calm, powerful Japanese. He tells Aiko she misunderstood. He and Mu-hee are traveling together and only stopped by to say hello. Aiko is left speechless. Mu-hee cannot understand Japanese, but she can feel Ho-jin's words forming an invisible wall between Aiko's cruelty and her own humiliation. The nerves inside her, stretched almost to the breaking point, finally loosen. Ho-jin takes Mu-hee's hand and leads her away. But at the doorway, Mu-hee cannot resist giving Aiko one very international gesture. After they leave, the Italian mother calls to thank Ho-jin and sends them dinner as a gift. Seeing that Mu-hee has nowhere to go, Ho-jin invites her to eat with him. Over the course of the afternoon, the distance between them quietly narrows. Ho-jin learns that Mu-hee is an actress. She has appeared in several projects, but mostly in tiny supporting roles. She has never truly become famous and is still a minor celebrity with fewer than 10,000 followers. Feeling happy, Mu-hee secretly takes a picture of Ho-jin and posts it on her social media with the words, "New Beginning." Then she starts acting cute, saying she has only 9,989 followers and needs 11 more to reach 10,000. She wants Ho-jin to follow her too. Ho-jin says he will think about it. Following someone back feels like a burden to him. What if Mu-hee suddenly becomes famous one day, and fans discover him through that mutual follow? They are in Enoshima, a place Ho-jin knows well. A girl named Oh Ji-soon once promised to spend her birthday there with him. But back then, Ho-jin knew nothing about romance and did not understand what Ji-soon meant. Because of that, they missed each other. As night falls, Ho-jin and Mu-hee prepare to go eat. Then Ho-jin receives a call from his older brother, Joo Jin-suk. Today is Ji-sun's birthday, and after an argument, Jin-suk cannot reach her. Ji-sun posted a picture online, and the location looks like Tokyo. When Ho-jin sees the familiar scenery in the photo, he immediately knows where she went. He runs all the way to the Enoshima observation deck and finds Ji-sun standing alone by the railing. Jin-suk calls again. Ho-jin freezes, caught between old feelings and present reality. After that strange encounter, Mu-hee's life returns to normal. One day, while filming her final scene, an accident happens. The old wire rig snaps, and Mu-hee falls. When she wakes up in a hospital bed, several months have passed. The world has rushed ahead without her. The movie she appeared in has become an overnight global hit. Her character, Do-rami, dances in a horror sequence that inspires fans around the world to imitate it. In one jump, Mu-hee goes from unknown actress to global horror queen. Her followers rise from fewer than 10,000 to 10 million. Luxury brands that once ignored her now compete to send expensive jewelry and couture gowns. But Mu-hee's sudden fame causes trouble for Ho-jin. The photo she posted in Tokyo makes the internet believe he is her mysterious boyfriend. Luckily, only his back was visible, so people who do not know him cannot identify him. Ho-jin thinks their paths will not cross again. But fate is already moving. During an interview with a foreign magazine, Mu-hee's agency hires a professional interpreter. That interpreter is Ho-jin. When Mu-hee sees his familiar, strangely reassuring face, she is stunned. With Ho-jin translating, the interview goes smoothly at first. Then the reporter suddenly asks a personal question. Is the man in Mu-hee's social media photo her boyfriend? As the person in the photo, Ho-jin lowers his head in embarrassment. After a brief pause, he still translates the question. Mu-hee knows she should not directly respond to this kind of rumor. In a hurry, she invents a clever explanation, saying the man was only a passerby she met by chance. But the fondness in her eyes is hard to hide. After the interview, Ho-jin wants to talk to Mu-hee. By coincidence, Mu-hee also wants to see him. Inside the moving car, the atmosphere feels stiff. They are not as relaxed as they were in Tokyo. This reunion is not an accident. The interpreter originally assigned to the job was Ho-jin's colleague, and Ho-jin asked that colleague to give him the work. He has wanted to see Mu-hee again, but finding a way was not easy. Mu-hee misunderstands immediately. She thinks Ho-jin came to confess, and a little expectation rises in her heart. But Ho-jin's actual purpose is to ask her to delete the photo. Before he can say it, her assistant Yong-woo interrupts. The program recording is about to begin. Mu-hee asks Ho-jin to wait on site until she finishes. Ho-jin follows the staff into the control room. Suddenly, Mu-hee's voice comes through his headset. Mu-hee, unaware the microphone is on, talks with her makeup artist about Ho-jin. Hearing what she says, Ho-jin's face burns and his heart starts beating faster. He wants to turn off the headset, but worries someone will notice, so he hides it under his hat and pretends he hears nothing. When the show begins, Ho-jin watches Mu-hee shining on stage and cannot look away. Only now does he realize that the girl who once cried quietly on his shoulder after being hurt by a terrible man is no longer the fragile person in his memory. She is standing under the lights, glowing. After the recording, Ho-jin tries to find Mu-hee, but staff say she left. He wants to explain and go, but Mu-hee insists they eat together. They never ate properly in Tokyo, so she wants to make up for that meal. Seeing Mu-hee shiver from the cold, Ho-jin removes his scarf and gives it to her. At a friend's restaurant, Ho-jin finally explains why he came. He asks her to delete the photo. Mu-hee freezes, so all her expectations were one-sided. When she takes out her phone, she tells Ho-jin the post already has more than 1 million likes and over 60,000 comments. If she suddenly deletes it, people will think she dumped the man in the photo. Ho-jin falls silent. If that is true, deleting it may cause even more trouble. He asks whether the date of the post can be changed. He is so determined because he worries Ji-sun may see it. That date was her birthday, and he does not want her to know where he was. After he and Mu-hee separated in Tokyo, Ho-jin never had the courage to go see Ji-sun. Since the photo cannot be deleted or edited, he gives up. But the atmosphere between him and Mu-hee becomes awkward. Before they part, Ho-jin suddenly reaches out his hand. Mu-hee's heart races. She thinks he has finally understood something and places her hand in his. But he only means a handshake. Mu-hee is speechless. Trying to ease the awkwardness, she offers to give him her phone number. Ho-jin refuses and says if something comes up, he can contact her assistant. Mu-hee wonders how Yong-woo has Ho-jin's contact. Then Yong-woo tells her the truth. While Mu-hee was unconscious in the hospital, Ho-jin came to see her several times. Back then, she had not become famous yet and was in an ordinary shared hospital room. Insurance covered the bills, while the agency and film company pushed responsibility onto each other. Even Yong-woo almost quit. Only after the movie exploded did Mu-hee move to a private VIP room. During the hardest days, the only person who kept coming to see her was Ho-jin, a man she had met only once. Yong-woo thought they were close friends, so he kept Ho-jin's business card. Mu-hee is shaken. She never imagined Ho-jin had quietly watched over her when she was still nobody. Meanwhile, Ho-jin returns home and looks at the charm Ji-sun once gave him. His heart is heavy. He first met Ji-sun during a trip. It was love at first sight. He secretly liked her for a long time, until one day he saw her begin a relationship with his own brother. Only then did he know he had no chance. Mu-hee grows curious about Ji-sun and asks Yong-woo to look her up. At that moment, Ho-jin texts Yong-woo, asking him to tell Mu-hee again to delete the photo. While checking Yong-woo's messages, Mu-hee accidentally sees old chats between Yong-woo and Ho-jin. They are full of Ho-jin worrying about her condition. Unable to stop herself, she calls the number on Ho-jin's card. Ho-jin answers. Then disaster strikes. Yong-woo suddenly finds Ji-sun's information and reads it out loud. Ho-jin hears everything through the phone. Mu-hee realizes Ho-jin is angry, so she goes straight to his house to explain. Ho-jin, normally calm, frowns. He does not understand why Mu-hee is so curious about this private matter. He sighs and says maybe it was his fault for telling a stranger about his past. He tells her to go home, but Mu-hee pushes back. He was also curious about her when she was lying in a hospital bed. He cared about her condition. She is genuinely grateful for that curiosity. The reason she called was to thank him, but because her own curiosity was cheap and careless, she can only apologize. Seeing Mu-hee standing in the cold with thin clothes and sniffling, Ho-jin softens. He knows she will not leave unless he explains properly, so he invites her inside. After hearing about Ho-jin and Ji-sun's past, Mu-hee cannot stop herself from asking the question in her heart. When she hears his answer, she feels disappointed. Ho-jin sees her flustered state and unexpectedly smiles. He thinks Mu-hee is a little cute. After she calms down, he brings a trash can for her tissues. Mu-hee, being stubborn, pushes it away. Ho-jin's blunt comment pricks her pride. She tries to act tough, but only loses the last bit of dignity. Her proud expression collapses, and even her voice softens. After Mu-hee leaves, Ho-jin notices it is raining. He wants to bring her an umbrella, but remembers their agreement not to meet again and puts it back. Then Mu-hee closes her eyes. When she opens them, everything has changed. She is standing on a red carpet surrounded by flashing cameras. She has no idea what is happening. Then a strange woman walks down the steps. It is Do-Rami, the character Mu-hee played. Mu-hee freezes in fear. Inside a car nearby, Japanese star hero notices something is wrong and steps out. But he is not trying to rescue her. He is there to show off his custom suit. He waited 3 months for this moment, and if someone faints now, his chance to display it is ruined. The Korean dating show producer sees this scene and gets an idea. A Japanese romance prince and Korea's horror queen together? That pairing could explode in ratings. Mu-hee later finds Ho-jin, who is working in Japan. Seeing that something is wrong, Ho-jin takes her to the hospital. While they wait for the doctor, he asks about her symptoms. Mu-hee does not want to answer. She does not want anyone to know her secret and only wants medicine to calm herself. But Ho-jin refuses to translate a lie. Hiding symptoms will delay treatment. Mu-hee finally explains. Ever since she woke up, the character she played has been haunting her. At first, she thought it was just a hallucination from exhaustion. But Do-Rami appears more and more often, and the more Mu-hee tries to escape, the more anxious she becomes. Today on the red carpet, she nearly broke down completely. The doctor asks about family history. Mu-hee opens a deeper wound. When she was 7, a family accident killed both her parents. She was the only survivor, but she lost her memory of what happened. After that, she grew up in her uncle's house. Her father's family had no history of mental illness. As for her mother's side, people said the accident was caused by her mother, and no one ever spoke about that woman. Ho-jin listens with pain in his eyes. Only now does he understand why Mu-hee clings so desperately to love. She is terrified of losing it again. Everything comes from a childhood where love was missing. Ho-jin remembers the days Mu-hee was unconscious in the hospital. Her uncle's family came once, but they only stood in the room coldly. They showed no concern and were eager to distance themselves from her, even speaking cruelly about her while she lay there. How strong does someone have to be to become this gentle after growing up around that much indifference? Ho-jin quietly opens a bottle of water and hands it to Mu-hee. The bottle still carries the warmth of his hand. It is clumsy, but it is his kind of tenderness. The doctor initially suspects post-traumatic stress. It may not be stress alone. It could also be related to brain injury after the accident. Ho-jin tells Mu-hee that he contacted her manager and that Yong-woo is on the way. Mu-hee immediately panics and asks whether he mentioned the hospital. Ho-jin says no. He only told Yong-woo that Mu-hee had sudden stomach pain and needed help. Mu-hee laughs bitterly. To her, that excuse is ridiculous. Yong-woo already knows she tried to approach Ho-jin and got rejected. Now she went to the man who rejected her and claimed her stomach hurt. She imagines Yong-woo thinking she has gone crazy over a man. She repeats that her behavior is pathetic, using jokes to hide how sensitive and vulnerable she feels. Then she turns away and quietly wipes her tears. When she turns back, she looks calm again and thanks Ho-jin. But this gratitude comes with distance. Mu-hee says she probably cannot repay him because she does not want to see him again. Ho-jin helped translate for her at the hospital, but now he knows too many of her secrets. Every time she sees him, she will not know what face to make. Today she can still smile, but if they meet again, she may cry. She asks him to leave before Yong-woo arrives and apologizes again. Ho-jin gently tells her to rest and follow the doctor's advice. It seems they will have no more connection, but fate has other plans. Soon, the producer of a Korean romance reality show, recommended by Ji-sun, asks Ho-jin to become the interpreter for an international dating program. At first, Ho-jin refuses. But when he hears that his brother Jin-suk and Ji-sun will marry next month, he accepts. He wants to run away from a wedding that will break his heart. What he does not expect is that the female cast member of the reality show is Mu-hee. The moment Mu-hee sees Ho-jin, her heart seems to skip. There is an invisible knot between them. The harder they try to pull away, the tighter it becomes. During the show's interview, D-RAMA suddenly appears again without warning and shakes Mu-hee's mind. Her answers become confused and incoherent. Ho-jin notices something is wrong and worries about her. After countless retakes, the production team temporarily stops filming. Mu-hee's performance disappoints the producers. The writer regrets casting her, and the director even considers replacing her. Mu-hee overhears everything. While she sits alone in a corner, Yong-woo comforts her and mentions that Ho-jin came to the show because Ji-sun recommended him. Mu-hee immediately becomes jealous. When she goes outside to cool down, Ho-jin approaches and asks whether she saw a doctor. It is a simple question of concern, but it lights the fuse. In Mu-hee's mind, Ho-jin still likes Ji-sun, rejected her because of Ji-sun, and now pretends to care. She asks what she even is to him and tells him she does not need his fake kindness. She wants him to leave the show because she does not want to see him. Ho-jin calmly warns her that if she keeps performing this badly, she will be replaced too. Mu-hee realizes she misunderstood him and becomes painfully embarrassed. Then, as she tries to take the elevator, D-RAMA appears again. This time, Mu-hee decides to face her fear directly. But when the elevator door opens, the production staff have heard her shouting. Everyone stares. Mu-hee forces herself to stay composed. She explains that an acting memory overwhelmed her and she needed to vent. But the mask collapses the moment she sees Ho-jin. Under everyone's strange looks, she walks into the elevator like she has lost her soul. Her lonely figure stays in Ho-jin's mind. He regrets speaking so sharply to force her awake. He may have hurt her. Later, Mu-hee asks Ho-jin to meet at a restaurant. She tells him gloomily that the production team has not contacted her since that day. It seems she has been abandoned. They apologize to each other. After an afternoon of conversation, something between them quietly shifts, though neither of them realizes it. Mu-hee is still sad about possibly losing the show because it includes international travel. She truly wanted to see the aurora at least once. Then good news arrives. Yang-woo calls to say the contract is confirmed. Mu-hee is thrilled, but fear quickly appears under her excitement. She worries Do-rami will come back and make her lose control. But if someone who knows her situation is beside her, someone who can stay calm and help her when things go wrong, maybe she can face anything. Seeing the hope in Mu-hee's eyes, Ho-jin eventually agrees. This time, he is not doing it only for work. A long-lost light has finally entered his gray world. He sees the light in Mu-hee's eyes and decides to become the wall between her and the storm. The reality show begins filming in Canada. Mu-hee is full of anticipation. To build chemistry with the male guest, Yang-woo gives her terrible advice: act innocent and pure. When Mu-hee hears that Ho-jin and Yang-woo are sharing a room, her eyes sparkle. She tries to ask more, but Yang-woo scolds her. Even so, she secretly smiles. Ho-jin's presence is like a sedative, clearing away her fear. The male guest is Hiro Kurosawa, the Japanese star who helped her on the red carpet. Only before filming does he learn that the female guest is Mu-hee, and his smile freezes. He has no good impression of her. First, she never thanked him for the red carpet incident. Second, her role as Do-rami was too terrifying. He angrily wants to quit, and only Ho-jin's mediation persuades him to continue. The director tells Ho-jin to hide Hiro's resentment from Mu-hee, worried it will affect the relationship between the two guests. Ho-jin is already unhappy with that request. The director also keeps calling Mu-hee Do-rami, which finally pushes Ho-jin to the edge. After Mu-hee learns Ho-jin has arrived at the hotel, she waits until Yang-woo leaves and comes up with a plan. She pretends she does not know Ho-jin and Yang-woo share a room and knocks on the door. She is immediately embarrassed. She just separated from Yang-woo, and now she is pretending to look for him. Ho-jin sees through the little trick. When her thoughts are exposed, Mu-hee stops hiding it. She admits she used Yang-woo as an excuse to come see Ho-jin. She worried it might seem aggressive to visit him alone and might scare him. She wants to ask something, but loses courage and tells Ho-jin to go back inside. Ho-jin suggests they go outside and talk instead. Mu-hee is delighted, like a child who successfully stole candy. She is eager to talk about recent events, but Ho-jin only wants to know one thing. Has she been seeing hallucinations again? Mu-hee admits Do-rami still appears, but she has started thinking of those visions like online haters hiding behind a screen. They only shout ugly things, so she tries to ignore them. Ho-jin takes this seriously and asks what Do-rami says. Mu-hee looks awkward because the words are too embarrassing to repeat. Then she changes the topic. If she and Hiro act sweet in front of the camera, will Ho-jin feel awkward translating between them? It sounds casual, but she is carefully testing how much she matters to him. Ho-jin, unfortunately, is dense. He says he will not feel anything special. His job is to translate accurately. Mu-hee feels a small sting of disappointment. Because the show requires prepared gifts, Mu-hee plans to make a giant heart out of fallen maple leaves for Hiro. Canada is famous for maple leaves, and every leaf she collects carries her pure goodwill. Ho-jin watches silently. He wants to tell her she does not need to work so hard. This is only a job. After struggling with himself, he decides to tell her the truth, but Yang-woo interrupts. When filming officially starts, Mu-hee sits obediently on a bench. The first thing she does after putting on the earpiece is ask whether Ho-jin can hear her. According to the production plan, Hiro should go find Mu-hee. But he changes the rules on purpose, parks a bicycle on the road, and makes Mu-hee come to him instead. Mu-hee does not suspect anything. She happily runs toward the red balloon. Seeing Ho-jin's murderous expression, Hiro realizes he said the wrong thing and changes his wording. Just when the childish prank seems over, Hiro rides away again and moves the meeting point somewhere else. Mu-hee still does not notice his malice. Even though she runs until she is sweaty and breathless, she keeps smiling sincerely. Watching her being played with like a small animal, Ho-jin burns with anger. More than that, he feels pain over her innocence. Ho-jin, who always follows rules, breaks one for Mu-hee and secretly gives her a hint. When Mu-hee finally reaches Hiro, she still thinks nothing bad of him and greets him happily. But Hiro only becomes worse. His behavior is full of malice. This so-called romantic prince is really a petty coward. When Hiro deliberately ruins a gift, Mu-hee thinks it is her fault and apologizes again and again. Then Hiro says more cruel things, mocking her. Ho-jin, usually professional, cannot take it anymore and shortens the translation to protect her. Mu-hee notices something is off. Hiro said a lot, but Ho-jin translated only one sentence. There must be something hidden. She leads Hiro to the surprise she prepared. a giant heart made of maple leaves. Every leaf was arranged by her own hand, but Hiro steps on her sincere gift. The way he casually tramples her kindness makes Ho-jin so angry he nearly grinds his teeth. Then Hiro creates another problem. He says his contact lens fell out. Without it, his vision is too poor to continue filming, and his glasses are custom made. Even if a replacement is sent from Japan immediately, it will not arrive until tomorrow night. The directors are helpless. Mu-hee blames herself again and keeps apologizing. To avoid delaying filming, everyone searches through the carefully arranged maple leaves for the missing lens. Ho-jin realizes Hiro is intentionally dragging things out. From Yang-woo, he learns Hiro has one major hobby. If they can satisfy it, Hiro may cooperate. Ho-jin quietly takes a large bag of Yang-woo's snacks to trade for something. He could ask Yang-woo directly, but if Yang-woo knows, Mu-hee will know he helped. Ho-jin worries she will feel burdened. Before he can leave, Mu-hee runs over. She plans to buy Japanese food and apologize to Hiro, hoping he will agree to wear framed glasses and continue filming. Ho-jin firmly refuses. He does not want Mu-hee to carry humiliation that was never hers. Hiro's childish demands are not her responsibility. He tells her to wait and says he will be back soon. Ho-jin finds a foreign friend and trades the snacks for a valuable ticket. At the same time, Mu-hee is shocked to see Hiro taking pictures and admiring the scenery without glasses. Only then does she realize he has been fooling her. Her heart sinks, and Do-rami appears to mock her. When the hallucination fades, Hiro sees Mu-hee. Her face is full of anger. But to avoid affecting filming, she swallows it and pretends not to notice him. Hiro awkwardly leaves. Ho-jin arrives and sees Mu-hee forcing herself to endure. There is pain in his eyes. Mu-hee asks why Hiro is targeting her. After Ho-jin explains, tears rise in her eyes, but she stubbornly holds them back. What hurts her most is not Hiro's cruelty. It is the embarrassment of being seen like this by Ho-jin. Last night, she had been so excited about meeting Hiro and carefully prepared her gift. Ho-jin saw all of it. She understands Ho-jin hid Hiro's malice to protect her pride, but she wishes he had stopped her innocent self last night. Ho-jin then finds Hiro and gives him a rare sports ticket. Hiro has always wanted to watch a live hockey game in Canada, but tickets were hard to get. Ho-jin uses that wish to bring him back to filming. After handling this, Ho-jin returns to the city to find Mu-hee. When he sees her, she is signing autographs for foreign fans. The gloom on her face has disappeared, replaced by a warm smile. Kind people often choose warmth again, even after being hurt. Ho-jin watches her from a distance. The autumn wind lifts her hair, making her look gentle and beautiful. But when Mu-hee sees him, she immediately pouts. On the way back to the filming site, Mu-hee asks why Hiro suddenly changed his mind. Ho-jin does not tell her the truth. Instead, he softly asks what she plans to do next. Will she keep pretending she does not know? Mu-hee says with self-mockery that she is good at pretending not to know in front of people who dislike her. If she acts like she knows too much, she gets kicked out. She grew up reading adults' expressions in her uncle's house, so she is good at this. Ho-jin feels sorry for her and tells her that from now on, if she has something to say, she should say it. He will translate it properly. Mu-hee is surprised. Then Ho-jin apologizes. When Hiro said those long, cruel things, Ho-jin deliberately did not translate them. He should not have hidden Hiro's malice, but he was too angry to repeat such hurtful words. After Ho-jin drops her off, he prepares to go to the director. Mu-hee suddenly calls him back. When they return to set, Mu-hee raises a small fist and walks toward Hiro. Hiro, knowing his lie has been exposed, instinctively backs away, thinking she might hit him. Instead, Mu-hee's bright, fearless reaction overturns Hiro's fixed impression of her. He freezes, almost moved. After filming ends, Yang-woo tells Mu-hee to rest. But Mu-hee wants to see Ho-jin, so she pretends she wants to drink with Yang-woo. Yang-woo accidentally helps by inviting her to his room. Then Mu-hee remembers Ho-jin and Yang-woo are sharing a room and runs back to change into something pretty. When she enters, she looks around and discovers Ho-jin is not there. Disappointed, she pretends to casually ask Yang-woo to call Ho-jin over for drinks. Hearing that Ho-jin went to a bookstore, her face falls. Ho-jin is not there, but his belongings are. Mu-hee picks up his glasses and puts them on. When you like someone, even the things they use seem to glow. Meanwhile, Ho-jin leaves the bookstore and remembers Mu-hee saying a certain hot dog place is delicious, so he buys one. When he returns to the inn, Mu-hee is startled. She had been waiting for him, But now that he is here, she acts like a child caught doing something wrong. Seeing Ho-jin stare, she panics and runs. Outside, she starts overthinking. She wonders if Ho-jin was finally charmed by her. Then embarrassment hits. She explains she borrowed his glasses because her eyesight is not good, and the prescription just happens to fit. Ho-jin, amused, decides to tease her. His smile is warm and full of affection, but the next second he cannot smile anymore. He forgot his room card, and Yong-woo is passed out drunk. No matter how many times Mu-hee calls, Yong-woo does not answer. Worse, the front desk is empty. Ho-jin tells Mu-hee to return to her room so she will not miss filming tomorrow. But fate loves jokes. Mu-hee's room card is also in Ho-jin's room. With nowhere to sleep, the two poor souls can only rest in the lobby. As night deepens and the air grows colder, Ho-jin worries Mu-hee will get chilled. He takes off his jacket and covers her legs while he sits beside her in only a thin shirt. That gentle gesture makes Mu-hee's heart tremble. They stay in the lobby until morning. When sunlight enters through the glass, Mu-hee slowly wakes up. Ho-jin worries she is hungry and takes her to find food. As she is about to walk under a ladder, an older woman stops her. In Western superstition, walking under a ladder brings bad luck. Mu-hee has been looking for 4-leaf clovers for days. She has already found 5. Her lucky number is 7, and she believes whether she sees the aurora in Canada depends on finding 2 more. Ho-jin jokes that if they do not see the aurora, it will be Mu-hee's fault. Mu-hee explains that this is exactly the wrong response. What she needed was sympathy or encouragement, not blame. Ho-jin goes to buy something and tells Mu-hee to wait in the car. While bored, she finds another 4-leaf clover on the ground. She carefully wraps it in tissue and goes to share the joy with Ho-jin. But the moment she sees him, her smile freezes. Ji-sun is standing beside him. Mu-hee hides the clover in her pocket and forces a smile. On the way back, she watches Ho-jin and Ji-sun talking happily in front of her. Her chest tightens until breathing feels hard. Ji-sun came to Canada because the reality show director had a family emergency, and Ji-sun was the only person available to fill in. Her arrival blows away the small light that had just started burning inside Mu-hee. Whenever Mu-hee is upset, Rami appears to mock her. This time, Rami even laughs at her for lying just to spend time with the man she likes. The truth is, Mu-hee had her room card all along. Mu-hee asks Ji-sun whether something happened, since her wedding is next week and she suddenly came to Canada. Ji-sun awkwardly says the situation was urgent and she was needed for work. But Ji-sun actually came because she fought with Jin-suk. In her mind, Jin-suk is marrying her only because he wants to get married, not because he truly sees her. That night, everyone holds a welcome dinner for Ji-sun. To stop speculation, Ji-sun lies that she has delayed the wedding by 2 weeks for the show and will stay in Canada until filming ends. Ho-jin feels shaken. Mu-hee sees the bitterness on his face and feels sorry for him. Ho-jin came to Canada to escape Ji-sun's wedding, yet fate brought Ji-sun here too. Mu-hee later finds Ho-jin looking lonely and cannot resist comforting him. When he speaks so highly of Ji-sun, Mu-hee feels bitter but swallows it. She tells Ho-jin that if he likes Ji-sun that much, he should say it honestly. Otherwise, once Ji-sun becomes his sister-in-law, every meeting will be even more awkward. Mu-hee suggests he date someone else, even briefly, to help let go. Ho-jin becomes angry because she has touched a sore spot. He has tried that method, but his obsession is like a locked chain. The harder he pulls, the tighter it becomes. As Mu-hee walks away, regret fills him. He should not have said such harsh things. When emotions rush up, hurtful words fly like stones, injuring both the other person and himself. Ho-jin is a genius interpreter, but when it comes to his own heart, he is clumsy as a child. Mu-hee cries like her heart is raining. In her inner world, Rami opens an umbrella for herself and lets Mu-hee stand in the rain. The next day, filming continues, but the show uses a different interpreter. Ho-jin was in an accident on the way. He is not badly hurt, but Mu-hee cannot help worrying. After filming, she immediately texts him. Her contact name for Ho-jin is Papago, the Korean translation app, with a little heart beside it. Her feelings are already obvious. Meanwhile, Yong-woo accidentally answers Ji-sun's phone while bringing her ramen. He learns that Ji-sun canceled the wedding and broke up with Jin-suk. Late that night, Mu-hee finally receives Ho-jin's reply. He asks her to come outside. This helpless little princess runs out immediately. Ho-jin tells her to look up. For the first time, they stand together under the aurora. Under the deep blue sky, the lights move like torn silk from the Milky Way, slowly flowing above them. All the grievances and worries hidden in their hearts seem to dissolve in the romance of the moment. Seeing the aurora with someone you like may be one of the happiest things in the world. But Mu-hee does not know that while she is watching the lights, Ho-jin's eyes never leave her face. Ho-jin has always known Mu-hee's feelings. He only has not dared to respond easily. Back when Mu-hee fell asleep in the lobby, he already discovered she had her room card. He quietly put it back into her pocket. He knew she lied because she wanted to spend more time with him, so he chose to act along and protect that unspoken feeling. As the sky brightens, they return to the inn. The old door will not open, so Mu-hee starts chatting to ease the awkwardness. Unfortunately, she chooses the worst topic possible, praising another man in front of Ho-jin. She says Hiro is sensitive to cold, has dry eyes, and is prone to allergies. Ho-jin grows jealous and starts taking it out on the door. Mu-hee does not notice and keeps talking. When she praises Hiro again, Ho-jin's competitive side appears. He presses his face to create a dimple, trying to show he has charm too. Mu-hee is confused and has no idea what he is doing. Then Mu-hee adds more fuel to the fire by saying Hiro likes Korean japchae, so she wants Ho-jin, who cooks well, to teach her. After all this time together, Ho-jin has started smiling just by looking at Mu-hee. He does not realize she has already become the softest anchor in his heart. Every awkward step she takes toward him, every honest sentence she says, thins the wall he tried to keep between them. When filming is delayed by 30 minutes, Ji-sun asks Ho-jin to wait with her in the car. As Ho-jin follows, Mu-hee suddenly grabs his clothes. It is not only selfishness. She does not want him to fall back into that one-sided love. Ho-jin reads her eyes and decisively refuses Ji-sun. While they wait, Ho-jin tries to take Mu-hee to see a waterfall, but cannot find it. Seeing his embarrassment, Mu-hee points into the distance and says she sees the waterfall. To keep the romantic mood alive, she decides to make a waterfall by hand. Ho-jin, being painfully literal, says if falling water counts as a waterfall, then water from a faucet also counts. Mu-hee gives him a look that could kill, so he quickly changes his words. When their eyes meet, Mu-hee's heart skips. She kisses him before she can stop herself. Ho-jin is stunned by the sudden kiss. Mu-hee bounces away like she has been burned and pushes the blame onto Do-rami. If Do-rami knew, she would probably yell that she did nothing. When Canadian filming ends, the production team holds a celebration dinner. Watching Mu-hee interact closely with Hiro, Ho-jin becomes jealous and visibly unhappy. His mind is full of one question: what did that kiss mean? Unable to hold back, the usually quiet Ho-jin joins a party game. But fate puts him on a different team from Mu-hee. He wins, but he feels no joy. His eyes keep drifting toward Mu-hee. What he wants is not applause. He wants Mu-hee to notice him. Mu-hee is not ignoring him on purpose. Because of the kiss earlier, she does not know how to face him. Hiro, after spending time with her, has started developing feelings for Mu-hee and tries to move closer. Mu-hee suddenly says she has another schedule and must leave early. Ho-jin watches her go with confusion, wondering why she will not look at him. Mu-hee leaves because she saw him looking at Ji-sun and mistakenly thought his eyes still stopped only for his first love. But Ho-jin was looking at Ji-sun because the writer had invited him to appear in the next season of the dating show. He refused, and Ji-sun told the writer Ho-jin has liked someone for a long time. Ho-jin was confused by that, and Mu-hee misread the scene. Two people who clearly like each other keep getting buried under layers of misunderstanding. Back in her room, Mu-hee stares at her phone. She waits for Ho-jin to contact her. An explanation, a greeting, even a simple good night. But the screen stays silent. She checks it again and again, the way anyone does when they know a reply may never come but still guards that tiny hope. At 4 in the morning, there is still nothing. Then the TV suddenly turns on by itself, playing Mu-hee's movie. Do-rami appears in Mu-hee's imagination like a judge, playing Russian roulette and aiming the gun at an imaginary Ho-jin. Rami asks the question hidden deep in Mu-hee's heart. If Ho-jin knew she was leaving tomorrow, why did he never contact her? Was their relationship that unimportant? Did the kiss mean nothing to him? Rami pushes further. Is Ho-jin cold because he still cannot let go of Ji-sun? Is he deliberately keeping distance because of some promise? In the silence, Mu-hee reaches an old conclusion. She is a child who cannot be loved. The next day, Mu-hee packs to return to Korea. She thinks Ho-jin will not appear, but he is already waiting and offers to drive her to the airport. Mu-hee runs to him with surprise, forgetting Yong-woo completely. On the way to the airport, Ho-jin finally breaks the silence. This time, he does not run away. He responds to the kiss. He says the impact felt like being shot. He could not calm down for a long time. He explains that he did not contact her last night because she had an early flight and he thought she would be asleep. He did not want to disturb her. There is a hint of grievance in his voice. That sudden kiss was like a stone dropped into a quiet lake. He was still waiting for the ripples to settle, while Mu-hee walked away as if nothing happened. Her attitude made him lose sleep all night. Ho-jin knows Mu-hee's feelings are serious and deserve to be treated seriously. He says he does not want to betray that heart or let her leave with regret. He has decided to speak openly with Ji-sun and fully let go of that impossible one-sided love. Only by cutting off the past can he begin again. That is the most basic respect he can offer both of them. Mu-hee is overjoyed. She has walked 99 steps toward him, and now Ho-jin is finally taking the final step. They smile at each other. For a moment, even the air feels sweet. Ho-jin tells her to sleep for a while since she stayed awake all night too. Mu-hee shakes her head. She treasures every second with him. At the airport, Young-woo looks at Mu-hee's love-struck face and cannot understand why she likes Ho-jin so much and always gets pulled around by him. To snap her awake, he tells her the truth. Ji-sun canceled the wedding and broke up with Jin-suk. Mu-hee freezes. If Ho-jin's first love is single again, his heart may become even more confused. Panic takes over. Mu-hee wants to stop Ho-jin before he meets Ji-sun, because maybe she still has a chance. But when she rushes to the bookstore where Ho-jin is, she is too late. She sees Ho-jin and Ji-sun talking and laughing. Her heart almost stops. On the bookstore screen, the word envy appears, as if marking the end of a story. Whenever Mu-hee sinks emotionally, Rami comes out to mock her. This time, Rami creates a love drama starring Ho-jin and Ji-sun. She tells Mu-hee to pretend nothing happened and leave. That is the final dignity of an adult, and Mu-hee is good at pretending. That line matters later. As Mu-hee leaves in panic, she bumps into a server and spills coffee on herself. Ho-jin sees her and rushes outside. He looks at her stained clothes with obvious worry. But Mu-hee is full of hurt and does not see the concern in his eyes. She congratulates him bitterly. Since Ji-sun is not getting married now, the two of them can finally be together. Ho-jin hears the grievance in her words and tells her not to say things she does not mean. He wants her real thoughts. But Mu-hee, who grew up without being loved, has learned to hide vulnerability behind bravado. She is afraid of rejection and afraid of being hurt. She would rather push people away with sharp words than risk giving her heart again. She calmly suggests that maybe Ho-jin does not like her that much after all. Ho-jin admits he was drawn to her honesty. Her way of crying and laughing freely made him curious, made him care, made him want to accommodate and look after her. But now it feels like he has been dragged around by her emotions. Mu-hee walked 99 steps and retreated at the last one. Ho-jin was ready to take that final step, but he stops too. Is the love too light, or is the fear too heavy? Two stubborn people like each other, yet both say words they do not mean. After returning to Korea, Mu-hee spends her days shut in her room, gloomy and distracted. She thinks she will have no more connection with Ho-jin. Then, at a concert she is invited to attend, she hears a familiar voice. The moment she sees Ho-jin, her heart seems to stop. Ho-jin turns around, and their eyes meet across the space. For a second, the music becomes background noise. What Mu-hee does not know is that Ho-jin noticed her as soon as he entered the hall. He simply lacked the courage to approach her. His red eyes reveal everything he has been hiding: longing, hurt, and all the feelings that never found words. But the long-awaited reunion does not continue after the concert. Mu-hee leaves with an empty feeling, desperate to see him again. Outside the hall, she spots a similar figure in the crowd. Her eyes light up, only to dim when the person turns around and is not Ho-jin. Just as she falls into disappointment, Ho-jin's teacher, Kim Young-hwan, quietly becomes their secret matchmaker. He already knows the two have feelings for each other. To help them, he deliberately calls Ho-jin loudly in front of Mu-hee, his eyes full of mischief. Mu-hee cannot resist and follows him into the elevator. At Ho-jin's house, Teacher Kim acts more like the owner than Ho-jin himself. He warmly invites Mu-hee in, creating a chance for them to spend time together. Once inside, Teacher Kim smiles kindly at the obedient Mu-hee, then turns to Ho-jin and instantly switches modes, ordering him to go cook. After scolding Ho-jin, he returns to his gentle smile and asks Mu-hee what she wants to eat. Ho-jin is speechless but follows his elder's instructions. Other guests are supposedly coming for dinner, but Teacher Kim has secretly canceled them all to give the two time alone. Mu-hee wants to talk to Ho-jin but does not know where to begin. When he ignores her, she still refuses to give up. Ho-jin, foolishly, even asks why she came here. Mu-hee loses confidence, her face full of hurt. Then she looks at the soup and asks what it is. Seeing the unfinished broth, she suddenly says their relationship is like that soup. It had not officially started before someone impulsively turned off the heat. Her words carry regret and hope. She is afraid to confess directly, but she cannot stop using the scene in front of her to say she wants this relationship to start again. Ho-jin, moved but stubborn, says the heat was turned off at the right time. The soup can cool slowly, and he does not feel sorry about it. Mu-hee finally stops hiding and gathers the courage to speak honestly. At dinner, Teacher Kim asks whether they saw the waterfall in Canada. The question hits their shared memory so suddenly that Mu-hee chokes. After the meal, while washing up, the secret only they know rises again in Mu-hee's mind. She says it was beautiful. Ho-jin, still being annoyingly precise, says it was not a real waterfall and that he will never play along again. That simple sentence drains the hope from Mu-hee's face. Still, she refuses to give up. She asks the questions hidden in her heart. Why did he not return to his seat at the concert? Why did he let Yong-woo move into his house? Each question is a test. She wants proof that she matters to him. Ho-jin answers with distance. Yong-woo moved in because his rent was due, and Yong-woo said Mu-hee had never been to Ho-jin's house before. It feels like cold water on her heart, but Mu-hee does not retreat. She admits her feelings. Teacher Kim then reveals one of Ho-jin's secrets. Mu-hee finally learns that Ho-jin really was her 10,000th follower. When she woke from the coma, her followers had already passed 10 million, so his name was buried in the data. To create space for them, Teacher Kim makes an excuse and leaves. Before going, he tells Ho-jin to stop hiding and act like a man. Mu-hee came all the way here. Why keep wasting both hearts? Ho-jin feels wronged. It is not that he never tried. He once moved toward Mu-hee with hope, only to be pushed away. Now she suddenly appears again, making his anxious heart feel like a toy being moved at will. Teacher Kim teases him. As a genius who speaks 6 languages, if he does not understand, he should study. He should learn how to interpret the subtext in Mu-hee's words. After Teacher Kim leaves, Ho-jin paces outside for a long time. Only when he sees Mu-hee preparing to go does he finally speak. Mu-hee has secretly taken a record sleeve. The song belongs to a memory they once shared, the first time Ho-jin actively moved toward her. Seeing her caught stealing it, Ho-jin cannot help laughing. The record was meant as a gift for her from the beginning. He simply never found the right time to give it because they had been fighting. But after Mu-hee gets into the car, she realizes she stole only the empty sleeve. Ho-jin calls her. He sounds casual, but his actions betray his heart. For a missing record, he could have waited for another time. Instead, he drives out immediately. Real care is rarely sweet words. It is hidden in details like this. Mu-hee smiles after hanging up. Back home, she even changes clothes, excited for Ho-jin's arrival. But fate plays another joke. The first people who come are not Ho-jin, but her uncle's family. The shadow of childhood rushes back. Their coldness and cruelty awaken her buried inferiority. The feeling that she does not deserve love wraps around her like a net, and she loses the courage to face the person she likes. She stands Ho-jin up. His calls ring again and again, but she does not answer. Ho-jin worries all night and finally calls Yong-woo. When he learns Mu-hee is working and seems fine, his worry turns into anger, then disappointment. Mu-hee has once again pushed him away just as he tried to come closer. Mu-hee's own heart has already hit bottom. She knows she pushed Ho-jin away again, and perhaps this relationship, full of hesitation and retreat, was doomed from the start. During filming, she looks at the ceiling lights and drifts back to childhood. Mu-hee once had a happy family, but on her birthday, she witnessed her mother poisoning her father. Even the family's pet died after eating the poisoned cake. The cake was originally meant for Mu-hee. Terrified, the little girl climbed over a railing and jumped from the rooftop. She was the only witness, but she survived by pretending she had lost her memory. Her uncle's family questioned her again and again, asking whether she truly forgot how her parents died. She hid all her fear and obediently nodded. Her mother's cruelty, Her father's collapse, the pet's death, and her uncle's coldness formed a suffocating net. Mu-hee came to believe she did not deserve love. When facing love, she instinctively retreats, afraid of losing everything again. That deep trauma created her second personality, Do-ra-mi. This explains why, in Canada, Do-ra-mi said Mu-hee is an expert at pretending not to know. There is also a small detail. Do-ra-mi's clothes resemble Mu-hee's mother's clothes. That is not accidental. Rami, the sharp little demon, is the outlet for emotions Mu-hee has suppressed. She is the self Mu-hee does not dare face. When Mu-hee's main personality collapses completely, Do-ra-mi takes over. Rami cannot stand how Mu-hee's uncle family treats her. Wearing a striking red outfit, she storms into the church and uses the identity of godmother to teach that hypocritical couple a lesson at their niece's baptism. The uncle and aunt openly dislike this uninvited guest, but Rami does not care. She wants to live however she pleases. During the ceremony, the priest asks her to bless the child. Rami lifts the baby high and turns a supposedly sacred blessing into something unsettling. After the ceremony, she throws away Mu-hee's usual obedience. Her eyes are sharp and fearless as she looks down at the uncle and aunt. Her words carry years of anger. Not long ago, the uncle intentionally told the media that Mu-hee was not close to her family, turning her into a public gossip target. It was only his way of attacking her. Rami knows exactly how selfish and fake the couple is. She also feels sorry that Mu-hee has been controlled by them for so long, so she warns them bluntly to stay away from Mu-hee. Or next time she appears, they may not like the surprise she brings. After venting Mu-hee's anger at the uncle's family, Rami turns her attention to the feelings Mu-hee cannot face. Since Mu-hee keeps hesitating in front of Ho-jin, Rami decides to break the tension herself. Late at night, she goes to Ho-jin's house. The moment Ho-jin sees Mu-hee, resistance rises in him. He is tired of being pulled around. Every time he approaches, she pushes him away without warning. This time, he decides not to be controlled by uncertain feelings. But soon he realizes something is off. The person in front of him lacks Mu-hee's usual fear. Her voice is bold and reckless, so unfamiliar that he is confused. Ho-jin thinks this is a prank and sends her out. Rami does not give up. She immediately switches into cute mode. Even Ho-jin is momentarily affected, but he refuses to be led around again. He calls a taxi, only for Rami to slip back inside during the chaos. Once inside, she quickly removes her coat, checks the cup where she placed a strong sedative, then runs into the bedroom. When Ho-jin returns, he drinks the drugged water. The Mu-hee in front of him acts without logic, and he cannot keep up. Finally, frustrated, he tells her he hates people who ignore others' emotions. People like that are selfish. Mu-hee keeps pouring out her love one-sidedly without caring about his thoughts or feelings. It is like a child grabbing a toy without asking whether the other person wants to give it. His words carry long exhaustion. He has had enough of being pulled around. Rami does not care. She brings up Italy. As the reality show's interpreter, Ho-jin is supposed to go with the team. But Ho-jin says clearly that he will find a replacement. He does not want to play along with Mu-hee anymore, so he will avoid her. That rejection satisfies Rami. Her purpose was to separate these two hesitant people. Now that the goal is achieved, and the time she calculated has arrived, there is no reason to stay. Rami had put sleeping medicine in the water to prevent Mu-hee's main personality from waking mid-conversation and ruining the plan. If Mu-hee wakes, Ho-jin will already be unconscious and unable to hear much. As the drug takes effect, Ho-jin's eyelids grow heavy and he passes out. The next day, Yong-woo wakes Ho-jin. Seeing the packet of sleeping pills, Ho-jin is full of questions. Was last night really Do-ra-mi? Worried, he goes to Mu-hee's agency and finds the restored main personality standing in confusion. Mu-hee has discovered something in her costume and does not understand what it is. Ho-jin asks whether she truly does not know. Looking into her blank eyes, he realizes the person from last night may not have been Mu-hee. Before leaving, Mu-hee finally apologizes for standing him up. She admits it was all her fault. Back in the waiting room, Mu-hee looks at the photos from her shoot and grows confused. She has no memory of the process. She only remembers being so exhausted she wanted to give up. Then she closed her eyes, opened them, and the shoot was perfectly finished. A thought rises in her mind. This must have been Do-ra-mi, but that brings deeper fear. She does not know how this second personality controls her body, and she cannot predict what may happen if it continues. Meanwhile, after breaking up with Jin-suk, Ji-soon is swallowed by sadness. By chance, she meets Yong-woo. Unlike people who offer forced comfort, Yang-woo's warmth slowly reaches her, and the two secretly grow closer. Hiro also comes to Korea with his manager after wandering around for several days. He finally cannot suppress his confusion and goes to find Mu-hee. The unexpected kiss on the plane has been circling in his mind. He wants to know whether it was a meaningless accident or something more. Mu-hee is completely confused. She does not remember it at all and thinks Hiro must be lying. She says she would be more likely to spit on him than kiss him. Hiro does not understand Korean, but from her reaction, he sees the kiss did not come from her true feelings. Perhaps it was only a strange, drunken accident. The feelings he had been holding in secret can only be swallowed back down. Mu-hee hides in the bathroom as a terrifying thought becomes clear. The second personality that once existed only as a hallucination can now truly control her body. She cannot understand why Durami would do something so reckless with someone Mu-hee does not like. Ho-jin is also unsettled by what happened the night before. The person with Mu-hee's face, but a completely different boldness stays in his mind. Afraid Rami may do something worse, he calls Mu-hee. But Rami, now occupying Mu-hee's body again, has already begun her next plan. She suddenly pulls Hiro close until their noses nearly touch, creating an ambiguous atmosphere that leaves him stunned. Then she whispers goodbye in his ear. Her plan does not stop there. She secretly takes Mu-hee's passport and flies alone to Italy. Rami knows Mu-hee is trapped by her feelings for Ho-jin. If Mu-hee cannot decide, Rami will decide for her. When Ho-jin hears from Yang-woo that Mu-hee has gone to Italy alone, he cannot stop worrying and follows her. He wants to understand why this second personality appeared. He believes there must be a hidden reason. He once heard Mu-hee's uncle say coldly in the hospital that it would not matter even if Mu-hee died. That naked indifference convinced him Rami's existence is not accidental. It likely comes from years of suppressed family trauma. Ho-jin tells Rami his guess. Maybe she did not appear because of the fall, but because the dark past inside Mu-hee's memory took shape as do Rami. He hopes Mu-hee can escape that past and find peace without relying on another personality to support her. Later, the two sit by the street eating pizza. Ho-jin asks Rami again, if Mu-hee becomes happy, will Rami disappear completely? Rami's little scheme is obvious to him, but if being manipulated can bring the real Mu-hee back, he is willing to endure it. When Ho-jin turns to buy coffee, the mischief fades from Rami's face. She looks into the distance with heavy eyes. She has already set a trap. She sent Hiro her location. The whisper in his ear was meant to lure him to Italy. This cross-country meeting was carefully arranged from the beginning. At the exact moment the church bells ring through the Italian street, the sound wakes Mu-hee's sleeping main personality. When Mu-hee opens her eyes and sees Hiro in front of her, she freezes in pure confusion. She has no idea why she is facing him on a foreign street. Ho-jin arrives just in time to see it. The positioning feels perfectly arranged, just like when Mu-hee once saw Ho-jin with Ji-sun. Now Ho-jin becomes the outsider watching someone else stand beside the person he loves. He remembers Rami saying that when the final bell rings, Mu-hee will truly feel happiness. Seeing Mu-hee and Hiro facing each other in silence, the love Ho-jin could barely hide turns cold. He assumes Hiro is the person who can make Mu-hee happy. So Ho-jin quietly wipes away the disappointment in his eyes and hides his unspoken feelings again. Afterward, Mu-hee checks her phone and sees that she herself sent Hiro the location. She immediately understands that Rami made the decision for her again. Thinking of the kiss Hiro mentioned, she finally confirms that those ridiculous actions all came from her second personality. Filled with guilt, Mu-hee finds Hiro and sincerely apologizes for Rami's reckless behavior. When Mu-hee bluntly asks whether he likes her, the proud Hiro panics. He quickly lies that he came only to warn her not to mess with him again, or he will get angry. In truth, Hiro knows he was pulled here by feelings he cannot explain. But when the person he likes asks directly, pride stops him from admitting it. Mu-hee has also been hot and cold, distant one moment and intimate because of Rami the next. That makes Hiro feel like he is being played with. Soon, the Italy filming begins. Mu-hee barely calms herself and prepares to work. But the moment Ho-jin's voice comes through her earpiece, her peace shatters. Her heart beats faster. In the following days, whenever Mu-hee closes her eyes and relaxes, the little demon inside her takes over and causes chaos. Ho-jin becomes her personal playmate. Rami's tricks are never repeated. For a piece of bread she finds pleasing, she can drag Ho-jin to wait outside a shop until 4 in the morning, not caring that he must work early the next day. When Mu-hee wakes in the morning, she can only check social media to learn what Rami did while controlling her body. Without realizing it, Ho-jin and Rami build a strange rhythm. Ho-jin is exhausted by her but stops resisting the way he did before. Maybe the highest form of loving someone is willingly joining their madness and tolerating all their little irrationalities. After being tormented by Rami day after day, Ho-jin loses his original temper. Whenever Rami gets drunk, he carefully carries her on his back, moving gently as if afraid someone from the production team will see. One late night in a cafe, Rami unexpectedly stops fooling around. She asks Ho-jin to teach her lines from La Traviata because Mu-hee and Hiro will film at the Opera House soon. She wants to learn a few lines so she can look educated instead of like an empty flower vase. When Ho-jin praises her memorization, Rami's eyes brighten and she asks for a reward. On the way back, Rami suddenly stops and proudly tells Ho-jin about her achievement. She says she caused a scene at the niece's baptism. Her eyes shine like a child asking to be praised because she finally vented anger for the weak main personality. Rami adds that she restrained herself because it was a church. After all, she still wants to go to heaven. She expects Ho-jin to tease her like usual. Instead, he stays gentle and quiet. He looks at her tough act with pity for Mu-hee. That unexpected tenderness touches the softest part of Rami. She is used to protecting herself with sharp edges. When real care reaches her, her instinct is to reject it in the most extreme way. The next night, Rami appears again holding Hiro's camera. She says she stole it. She wants to create a chance for Mu-hee and Hiro. If Hiro is upset over losing something important and Mu-hee happens to find it, he will feel grateful. Rami asks Ho-jin to help place the camera somewhere obvious so Mu-hee can discover it. Ho-jin does not want to join this kind of scheme, but Rami knows his weak point and says Mu-hee might be arrested if he does not help. That easily traps him. As they prepare to leave, Ho-jin sees production staff gathering nearby. He instinctively pulls Rami into his arms, afraid she will be recognized and Mu-hee will be hurt. What he does not know is that the staff see everything. They recognize Ho-jin, but not the woman he is holding. When they reach a quiet place, Rami refuses to let go and hangs on him like a doll. The next day, Ho-jin appears exhausted. Then he is startled by staff looking for the camera. He finds the right moment and places it somewhere visible so Mu-hee can find it. But just after leaving, a thought hits him. That night, when Rami played with the camera, she may have taken a photo of him. After a fierce internal battle, curiosity wins. When Mu-hee finds the camera, Ho-jin claims he needs to check whether it is broken and exposes the film, destroying any possible evidence. The atmosphere becomes subtle. Since filming began in Italy, Mu-hee has not been alone with Ho-jin. Her shy expression feels unfamiliar to him now. He has almost grown used to the bolder, rougher night version, Do Rami. Later, Ho-jin goes to the cafe and learns from the owner that Rami draws a 4-leaf clover every time she comes. There are 6 now. Looking at the clovers, Ho-jin wonders what wish Rami will make after drawing the 7th. Meanwhile, Mu-hee stares at footage of the aurora. The first aurora she ever saw was beside the person she liked. That wonder and heartbeat have become an anchor in her heart. She knows that no matter how many auroras she sees later, the first person she remembers will always be Ho-jin. The desire to see him becomes overwhelming. Mu-hee closes her eyes and places her hope in Do Rami. As Rami appears, Mu-hee's sadness vanishes. Hiro, nearby, sees the change. Once Rami is online, she contacts Ho-jin immediately. Her familiar darling makes Ho-jin suspect she is back. Rami often mocks Mu-hee, but beneath it is fierce protection. More than anyone, she wants Mu-hee to be happy. That is exactly why she wants Ho-jin to stay away. She knows Mu-hee is fragile and fears this unclear love will wound the girl who longs for love but fears losing it. Rami's frequent appearances are not only for chaos. They happen because Mu-hee's longing for Ho-jin is too strong. That desire to see him can only be carried by the substitute who dares to run toward him. During this time alone, Rami finally reveals Mu-hee's buried secret. Mu-hee did not actually forget the terrible family accident from childhood. The truth hits Ho-jin hard. He knew Mu-hee had an unhappy childhood, but he never imagined that a young child could witness something so horrific and then force herself not to cry, not to fear, and only smile obediently. The despair hidden behind that good girl act is almost unbearable. Looking at Mu-hee's face, Ho-jin can no longer hold back. He pulls the person in front of him into his arms, but that sudden tenderness makes Rami resist. To her, making Ho-jin leave is the only way Mu-hee can be happy. If this love is cut off, Mu-hee will stop tearing herself apart, and Rami, a personality born from pain, can finally disappear. The line Rami speaks comes from La Traviata, a tragedy where the heroine gives everything for love and dies alone. Rami knows she, as a second personality, is also heading toward an exit. Once Mu-hee finds true happiness, Rami will no longer need to exist. Her exit carries her final wish, that her soul can go somewhere without pain. That is why she always said she wanted to go to heaven. She already knew her ending. That night, Mu-hee dreams of Rami. This time, Rami has lost her usual sharpness. Her eyes are calm and full of farewell. She tells Mu-hee that the goodbyes Mu-hee could not say have all been said for her. It is Rami's purest protection and her acceptance that their shared life may be ending. She came to protect Mu-hee. Now she is willing to step back for Mu-hee's happiness. Mu-hee wakes with tears in her eyes. She does not know whom Rami said goodbye to, but Rami's sadness was too deep. Even without seeing the scene, Mu-hee can feel it was a heavy, decisive farewell. Afterward, Mu-hee goes out to clear her head and overhears production staff gossiping. They say Ho-jin has been meeting an Italian woman every night. The words stab her. The light in her eyes fades. Ho-jin, meanwhile, is irritated by this invented rumor. Then he hears the familiar darling and assumes Rami has appeared again, because that word has become her signature. Mu-hee comes to ask whether Ho-jin already has a girlfriend. Remembering Rami's claim that staying away is the way to make Mu-hee happy, Ho-jin lies and says he is dating someone. The reality show's final filming location is a winery owned by a Korean woman. Everyone is busy preparing, but Ho-jin looks especially unhappy. The winery owner is his mother. 13 years ago, after an intense argument, mother and son cut off contact completely. Now the show has unexpectedly brought him back to her. Mu-hee notices teacher Kim's picture on the wall and guesses the winery owner may be Ho-jin's mother. After the woman confirms it, Mu-hee, unaware of their strained relationship, pushes Ho-jin's mother in front of the camera and gives her an earpiece. Ho-jin has always wanted to reconnect, but 13 years of distance became an invisible wall. Every time he wanted to step forward, stubbornness and helplessness stopped him. He never expected Mu-hee's impulsive move to solve the problem so easily. After learning the truth, Mu-hee apologizes. She did not know their relationship was so awkward. Ho-jin smiles with relief and says that because of her, he has finally reconnected with his mother after 13 years. Since Mu-hee started this, she has to take responsibility and come to dinner with him. Ho-jin brings Mu-hee partly to ease the awkwardness with his mother, but more importantly, because he wants to be with her. Mu-hee confidently says to leave it to her. While preparing food, Ho-jin's mother accidentally burns her finger. Her fiancé, Dario, sees it and comes to check with concern. Ho-jin arrives and misunderstands, thinking his mother is being harassed. Neither man knows the other's identity, and both prepare to fight. Then Ho-jin learns the truth. This man is about to become his stepfather. The revelation leaves him full of mixed feelings. The atmosphere that had just softened becomes tense again. Mother and son clearly care about each other, but the words that come out turn into arguments. Seeing the fight escalate, Mu-hee makes a quick decision. Her legs go weak, and she pretends to faint. This is her grand rescue plan. Strangely enough, it works. Her timely collapse prevents the 13-year wall from gaining another crack. Ho-jin carries her, and the closeness makes Mu-hee's heart miss a beat. Hearing his steady heartbeat, she unconsciously grips his clothes. They lean toward each other with unspoken care, longing, and expectation flowing quietly between them. Then Ho-jin is called into the living room by his mother. Without outsiders and without the earlier confrontation, mother and son finally sit down and talk. 13 years of distance are like dust on a window. They missed each other, but neither could cross the barrier. Mu-hee's fainting became the key that opened the locked door. Seeing gray strands in his mother's hair, Ho-jin can no longer suppress years of grievance and longing. His mother also grows teary and talks about how much she missed him, full of regret for the past. This late reconciliation owes everything to Mu-hee's accidental intervention. Soon, Ho-jin's mother's wedding coincides with the reality show's wrap party. The estate is full of joy. Seeing Mu-hee smile so brightly, Ho-jin cannot stop his own smile from rising. But when he remembers Rami saying distance is what will make Mu-hee happy, he forces himself to hold back and keeps his distance. He does not realize Mu-hee's smile fades the moment he leaves. She keeps thinking about him and follows him out. On the sofa, Ho-jin's phone vibrates. The screen lights up and hooks Mu-hee's curiosity. She remembers the girlfriend Ho-jin mentioned and wants to know whether the message is from that darling. But the message is in Italian, and she cannot understand a word. Ho-jin suddenly walks over. Mu-hee is so startled she nearly falls. As he approaches, she becomes more flustered. The international dating show will end tomorrow. If nothing changes, it will be hard for them to meet again. Mu-hee reaches out and thanks Ho-jin for everything. Without his interpreting, she could not have completed this foreign trip. Ho-jin says little and prepares to leave. He is afraid that if he stays even one more second, his feelings will leak out through his eyes. Then Mu-hee turns off the lights. Darkness becomes a shield that lets her drop the mask. She says she is someone who always runs away. Even though she approached Ho-jin again and again, every time happiness came within reach, childhood trauma stopped her from taking the final step. She thanks him for never hating her. During this trip, his voice was her anchor. Thinking that they may not see each other after the show ends makes her eyes fill with tears. Ho-jin gently touches her head and tells her not to doubt herself because of the past. She deserves to be firmly chosen. She deserves tenderness. She is qualified to have her own happiness. As the reality show journey ends, Hiro's farewell carries obvious reluctance. He gathers courage and confesses in Japanese. But after Hiro speaks, no translation comes through the earpiece. Mu-hee asks Ho-jin what Hiro said. Hearing another person's confession through Ho-jin's voice makes her panic. More than how she should answer Hiro, she cares about what Ho-jin thinks. She wants to know whether he feels anything as he translates another man's confession to her. She asks Ho-jin for advice. Ho-jin's answer is painfully official. Whatever she wants to say, he will translate honestly. That emotionless response pours cold water over Mu-hee's final hope. Disappointment rises in her chest. She no longer asks Ho-jin to translate and answers Hiro with a little anger mixed in. The crew celebrates the wrap, but Ho-jin looks bitter. The director quietly notices and records a video. Later, the director becomes an assist and sends the video to Mu-hee. He has already noticed the hidden feelings between Ho-jin and Mu-hee. As the backstage interpreter, Ho-jin seems calm while accurately carrying Hiro's confession and Mu-hee's response. But the video shows his eyes are not calm at all. His bitterness and loss reveal how much he cares. Even after seeing the video, Mu-hee still does not dare approach him. Then Do-rami's voice rises from deep inside her. When Mu-hee closes her eyes, she enters an imaginary room. It is her childhood home, the beginning of all the tragedy. The trauma left by that childhood convinced Mu-hee she could never be loved. To her, happiness is a fragile bottle. The more she wants it, the easier it breaks. Rami tells Mu-hee that the safest way to be happy is to throw away every person and thing that can make her long for love. Cut off the desire at the root, and she will never suffer another loss. Just like giving up on the aurora means never being disappointed by not seeing it. But when Mu-hee is about to throw away her memories, she sees the truth hidden deep inside Rami. Those memories are full of Rami and Ho-jin. When Mu-hee ran away, Rami went to Ho-jin with sharp courage. When Mu-hee buried her feelings, Rami expressed them directly. When Mu-hee could not even move closer, Rami did everything Mu-hee wanted to do but feared. Mu-hee finally understands. The second personality she resisted so much has been protecting her in the clumsiest way possible. Rami was never only an obstacle. She was the outlet for Mu-hee's suppressed emotions, the bravery Mu-hee could not face. Her protection was reckless and extreme, but she was willing to disappear if it meant Mu-hee could touch happiness. Mu-hee breaks down. Hiro happens to see her. This gentle man has already seen that Mu-hee loves Ho-jin and that her answer to him was only angry self-defense. He swallows his own heartbreak and encourages Mu-hee to stop hesitating. She should run toward the person who truly moves her. Mu-hee goes to the cafe and draws the 7th four-leaf clover. Back in Canada, she said her lucky number was 7. If she collected 7 clovers, she would see the aurora with the person she liked. This is why Rami kept drawing clovers. The 6 clovers represented Mu-hee's love for Ho-jin growing almost full. What was missing was the last bit of courage. When Mu-hee draws the 7th clover, she makes her final wish. May the aurora appear everywhere in the world. It means she has finally gathered the courage to complete her love. It is also a blessing for everyone in the world to see their own aurora and find their own happiness. After Mu-hee leaves, Ho-jin enters the cafe and sees the wish she wrote. Then Mu-hee sends a message. Ho-jin instinctively thinks Rami is online again. Facing that bold personality is easier because he does not have to hide his feelings so carefully. He runs toward the meeting place without hesitation, urgency in every step. But when he realizes the person waiting is Mu-hee, he freezes. Mu-hee finally removes all her defenses and reveals the fear buried in her heart. She admits she loves Ho-jin deeply, but childhood trauma is like a thorn inside her. Those past wounds, which even she does not dare touch, make her instinctively fear showing any ugly part of herself to the person she loves. She is afraid happiness will shatter like glass. If she holds it too tightly, her hands may end up full of cuts. She does not know what to do. She worries her past is too heavy and will scare Ho-jin away, yet she cannot stop loving him more and more. Seeing the struggle in Mu-hee's eyes, Ho-jin finally stops holding back. The man who is usually restrained and awkward throws aside his hesitation and says what has been pressing on his heart. Mu-hee looks confused because she does not understand his clumsy confession. Before she can finish speaking, Ho-jin answers with a firm kiss. When he says they will definitely break up one day, it is not because he wants to reject her. He understands Mu-hee's avoidant personality. Unrealistic promises of forever would only suffocate her. Instead of loading the future with heavy vows, he wants them to hold the present first. Even if this relationship may eventually end, it is better than never starting because they were afraid. This embrace and kiss are his most practical confession, a gentle firmness that gives Mu-hee no place to run. The moment they confirm their relationship, romantic snow begins falling over Italy. The flakes settle on their shoulders like sugar over a late arriving love. Because it is too late to get a taxi, Ho-jin takes Mu-hee to his century-old house in Italy. Inside, he uses a towel to help dry the snow from her hair. His tenderness makes her blush. While he makes coffee, Mu-hee asks why, if this old house is right beside the cafe they often visited, he never brought her here before. Ho-jin's answer makes Mu-hee remember everything Rami did. She sincerely apologizes, embarrassed. Seeing her cute expression, Ho-jin cannot keep teasing her. He admits he is actually grateful to do Rami. If that fearless personality had not broken the deadlock, he might never have learned Mu-hee's hidden secret or understood that this girl, who always runs away, was trapped by childhood fear. Ho-jin said they would eventually break up not to push Mu-hee away, but because he understands her. Promises like forever would become a burden on her heart. That reverse confession finally lets Mu-hee breathe. Ho-jin may be awkward, but luckily, he is a guiding lover. In a world where every person speaks a different emotional language, he studies Mu-hee's vocabulary and word order again and again. He learns to read every subtext in her escape. With patient, steady tenderness, he helps her believe love is not a dangerous fantasy. It can be a real happiness they build together. That is the final answer to the question, can this love be translated? While Mu-hee dries her hair, the old house loses power because the hairdryer is too strong. As darkness fills the room, the atmosphere turns intimate. Some scenes are better left skipped. Meanwhile, before the crew returns to Korea, they discover negative rumors about Mu-hee online. Because Mu-hee's ex-boyfriend's ramen shop has gone viral, bored internet users dig into the connection between him and Mu-hee. The timeline of their relationship overlaps with his wife's pregnancy, so Mu-hee is accused of interfering in a relationship. Even the photo Ho-jin once asked her to delete is twisted into evidence of intimacy with the ex. The photo was taken in Enoshima, very close to the ex-boyfriend's ramen shop. That detail makes the rumors spread faster. When Ji-sun hears the date the photo was taken, she becomes suspicious. The man in the photo is Ho-jin, and Ho-jin was at that meaningful place on her birthday. Was it coincidence? Or was there more behind it? Mu-hee knows nothing yet. She wakes up wearing her boyfriend's clothes with a note from Ho-jin on the table. When Yang-woo tells her about the scandal, she explodes. This reaction shows her personalities have finally begun to integrate. The old Mu-hee would have swallowed the blame or turned it against herself. This Mu-hee can get angry. To avoid hurting the reality show's release, Mu-hee chooses to bear the humiliation and goes to Tokyo to take a photo with her ex-boyfriend's family. She posts it online, claiming they are friends and denying the affair rumors. The scandal does not vanish immediately, but it becomes manageable. But soon after, the ex-boyfriend's family comes to Korea. He keeps saying thank you, claiming Mu-hee's publicity made the ramen shop famous. But his real purpose is clear. He has a new product and wants her to help promote it. He seems to have forgotten how he hurt her. Seeing his shameless face makes Mu-hee furious. If she had not needed his cooperation to calm the scandal, she would have gladly turned him into ruined ramen instead of letting him trouble her again. Then the ex changes tone. His son has a heart problem. Although the child is technically Aiko's ex-husband's son, he has always raised him as his own. He came shamelessly because he needs more money for the surgery. Mu-hee almost softens. But now that Rami has merged with her, she will not forgive this kind of person easily. Still, when she sees the innocent child, her heart softens. Adult grudges have nothing to do with a child. In the end, Mu-hee agrees to help. Kind people may be hurt and betrayed, but they do not throw away the softness at their core. Meanwhile, Teacher Kim is playing Go with Ho-jin when he starts gossiping about Mu-hee's online scandal. Ho-jin instantly explodes. He cannot tolerate anyone questioning Mu-hee without evidence. What Ho-jin does not know is that Teacher Kim is doing this on purpose. Online rumors are everywhere, and Ho-jin has no place to vent his anger. Teacher Kim sees the worry and fury under his calm surface and intentionally says something irresponsible to let him release it. In Mu-hee and Ho-jin's awkward love story, Teacher Kim is the hidden gold medal matchmaker. He deserves a seat at the main wedding table. After leaving his teacher's house, Ho-jin cannot stop worrying about Mu-hee. He knows how much pain these rumors must be causing her. When he sees Mu-hee's message saying they cannot meet for now, bitterness fills him. But that night, when he returns home, the voice he has been missing is standing in his living room. Mu-hee is pretending to be Rami. Ho-jin knows it is Mu-hee, but he indulgently plays along. Mu-hee uses Rami's armor because she wants to talk openly about her worries. The ex-boyfriend's visit has left her deeply unsettled. The public gossip is bad enough, but what she fears most is dragging Ho-jin into it and disturbing his peaceful life. She worries his privacy will be exposed. Her repeated testing of Ho-jin is not because she truly wants to push him away. She needs a definite answer. She needs him to say it is okay, so she can gather courage to keep walking with him. Ho-jin sees through her disguise but does not expose it. He softens his voice and tells her not to overthink. Even if she is exposed, it does not matter. False rumors cannot hurt him. She does not need to worry about the future. They will break up someday anyway, but at least for now, he will not let go of her hand over something so meaningless. His words are the reassurance Mu-hee needed. Ho-jin then tells Rami to leave quickly because he really wants to see Mu-hee right now. After that, no matter where Ho-jin is or how late he works, he comes home on time to see Mu-hee, even if it is only to say goodnight and see that she is safe. What he does not know is that if he had not come home, Mu-hee had already decided to go find him. Love is never a one-person performance. It is not only one-side testing and waiting. It is two people running toward each other in quiet understanding, answering each other's tenderness through details. Because Hiro confessed to Mu-hee during filming, the production team invites both of them to the company and asks whether they agree to include the scene in the final edit. Only then does Mu-hee learn from the writer that Hiro's confession was real. It was not just a show moment. She is stunned. When she recovers, she sincerely apologizes to Hiro. The reason Rami kissed him before is finally explained. At the same time, Ho-jin runs into Ji-sun on a train. Ji-sun finally asks the question she has been holding in. Why was Ho-jin in Enoshima on her birthday? Did he once like her? Ho-jin does not avoid it. He admits he did. He went to Enoshima that day because of her. And that was also the day he met Mu-hee. Ji-sun reveals her own secret. When she met Ho-jin for the second time, she had feelings for him too. But fate was cruel. The next time she saw him, she was already dating his brother. The feelings were real, and so was the missed timing. Now both of them love someone else. There is no reason to remain tangled in what could have been. They smile and release the past. Ji-sun's happiness is Yong-woo. Ho-jin's happiness is, of course, Cha Mu-hee. When Ho-jin reaches the station near home, he wants to tease Mu-hee. He says it is too late and he is too tired to take a detour to see her. He does not know Mu-hee is already waiting at the station. Hearing this, she feels a small disappointment and prepares to leave. Ho-jin says he heard her mumbling from far away and guessed she came. Embarrassed, Mu-hee explains that it was late and she did not want to waste time, so she came to wait. If she had not seen him, she would have gone home. They go to the rooftop together. The city lights spread out like crushed stars. Mu-hee says regretfully that it would be nice to see real stars. Unfortunately, the sky is not cooperating. Ho-jin tells her he knows a place where the Milky Way can be seen clearly. but it is too far to go today. They promise to go together when they have time. Mu-hee quietly stores that promise in her heart. Just when life seems ready to calm down, Mu-hee's uncle family causes trouble again. Ho-jin's home contains a valuable collection of antiques gathered by his maternal grandfather while traveling the world. Mu-hee's uncle comes to Ho-jin for two reasons. First, he wants Ho-jin to donate the collection to their family foundation. Ho-jin refuses without hesitation. After the way they treated Mu-hee, he has no reason to support their fake charity. The second request is even more suffocating. The uncle tells Ho-jin to stay away from Mu-hee. He says Mu-hee lies without blinking and even brings up her childhood trauma. But Ho-jin already knows those wounds. There is a deeper reason the uncle family hates and fears Mu-hee. Years ago, Mu-hee's mother had never officially married Mu-hee's father. She tried to hold on to him through the child, but the plan failed. In despair, she poisoned the cake and tried to take the whole family down with her. Young Mu-hee refused to eat the poisoned cake and eventually jumped from the rooftop. Luckily, she was rescued in time. To protect the family's reputation, the uncle has been burying this ugly history for years. Then he shows Ho-jin the only photo of Mu-hee's mother he never threw away. The woman in the photo looks exactly like Mu-hee. That is why the uncle family both hates and fears her. Her face constantly reminds them of a past they want erased. At the same time, Mu-hee's aunt tells Mu-hee the truth. Buried memories rush back like a tide. Mu-hee finally remembers her mother's face. Rami's existence now becomes clearer. She was built around the idea of protecting Mu-hee. Rami expressed feelings Mu-hee could not express, refused unfair demands Mu-hee could not refuse, and forced Mu-hee to face what she wanted to avoid. That protection is Mu-hee's idealized projection of a mother. Mu-hee could never fully believe her mother was only a monster. Somewhere deep inside, she wanted her mother to be someone who should have protected her. That expectation fell onto Rami, turning Rami into the person who defended her, shielded her, and stood up for her. Mu-hee's mind goes blank. Her body cannot hold the shock, and she faints. Ho-jin's voice reaches through the darkness, full of feeling, and Mu-hee finally wakes after 3 days. Afterward, Ho-jin hesitates but tells Mu-hee the truth her uncle hid for years. Her parents are not dead. Both were rescued in time after the incident. Later, her father could not face her and went abroad. Her mother vanished without a trace. Because Mu-hee always said she forgot what happened that day, her uncle used the family scandal as an excuse to lie and say both parents had died. The truth breaks Mu-hee open. She cries for the life stolen by lies. She grew up believing she was an orphan, living carefully under her uncle family's coldness, convinced she had lost all family and had nowhere to place her grief. She cries for the love she was denied. Her father is still alive somewhere in the world, yet for all these years she never felt a trace of fatherly love. She cries for her mother disappearing again. Just when the childhood mystery finally opens, she learns her mother is alive but still unreachable. The confusion, longing, anger, and worry have nowhere to go. Most of all, she cries for the years of grievance and fear she carried alone. The suppressed memories, the hunger for family, the helplessness of facing trauma by herself, all pour out as tears. Later, Mu-hee finds her uncle. This time, she does not shrink away. Her eyes are steady as she says she wants to know where her mother is. Her mother's shadow has covered her life for too long. Rami, her childhood wound, her doubt that she could ever be loved, all of it began from that unresolved bond. Mu-hee knows she must find her mother herself and confirm the truth with her own eyes. Only then can she cut away the chain wrapped around half her life and finally live for herself. Mu-hee says goodbye to Ho-jin and leaves to meet her mother alone. After she goes, Ho-jin misses her every day. Time slips by under that repeated longing. Months pass, and he remains where he is, waiting. During the days without Mu-hee, Ho-jin's mother sometimes returns to Korea to spend time with her son. Then Christmas Eve arrives. The city is wrapped in warm yellow lights and fine snow. The rooftop promise to see the Milky Way together finally reaches the moment of fulfillment. Ho-jin arrives at the promised place looking nervous, repeatedly rehearsing what he should say. Then a familiar voice sounds beside him. Mu-hee has returned, and the story ends here. Love is not a perfectly matched word, and it is not a grammatically flawless promise. It is what happens when language fails, but two people can still read the hesitation and heat in each other's eyes. Ho-jin, a genius interpreter fluent in several languages, once believed love could be defined by rules and explained by logic. Then he met Mu-hee and learned that some feelings cannot be translated literally. In Mu-hee's world, love once carried the curse of being undeserving. Durrami was the armor she made for herself. That bold, reckless personality said the words Mu-hee did not dare say, went to the places Mu-hee was afraid to go, and fought the past Mu-hee could not face. Only after meeting Ho-jin does Mu-hee slowly understand that love is not a dream destined to break, and not a threat she needs armor to touch. Love can be standing side by side under the Canadian aurora without saying much. It can be an impulsive kiss beside a fake waterfall. It can be the strange honesty of saying, "We will break up someday," because that is the only kind of promise an avoidant heart can bear. It can be someone taking the time to understand your defense mechanisms, gently reducing the weight of your trauma, and helping you reconcile with the imperfect parts of yourself. The most moving translation in the entire story is not Ho-jin's fluent foreign languages. It is his private translation of Mu-hee. He reads the sadness hidden under her jokes. He sees the vulnerability wrapped inside her sharpness. He understands that when she says she may leave, what she really fears is being abandoned first. Mu-hee also learns to translate Ho-jin, his stiff words, his delayed answers, his way of running across countries despite pretending to be calm, are all confessions from a man who does not speak his own heart easily. Durrami's exit is not simply the disappearance of another personality. It is Mu-hee accepting the whole of herself. Trauma, fear, courage, longing, and all the pieces that made her who she is. At last, Mu-hee and Ho-jin's love completes its translation. Love is not perfect grammar. It is the willingness to break the rules for someone. It is not an eternal promise. It is choosing the person in front of you right now. It is not the absence of distance. It is moving closer even while carrying that distance. Under the Christmas lights, with the promise of the Milky Way finally fulfilled, the best translation of love is not mutual language. It is mutual understanding. It is, "You understand my childish prophecy, and I understand the feelings you hide behind your contradictions." It is taking the sentence, "We will break up someday," and translating it into, "I choose you today." And maybe that is the final answer. Love translates loneliness into companionship, fear into courage, and "I do not deserve this" into "I am allowed to be loved." That's all for today's drama recap. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share. I'll see you in the next one.